Mr. Beast detractors are hypocrites. Just like this guy.
Man, if you're in a relationship, dog, you gotta cheat on your girl at least once or twice.
Hey, cheating, that shit is not okay.
Like, how can I possibly cheat on my girlfriend with my other girlfriend? I just don't even argue with these hoes no more, because they stupid.
That guy is in a whole other plane of awareness, okay? But I'm not trying to reach that plane of awareness. Instead, I want to go ahead and talk about Mr. Beast detractors, okay? Because these guys are some of the biggest hypocrites, if you ask me, because they're always spamming, well, why didn't you donate? You know, comments like that. You know, after this, I was just kind of just like shaking my head, just thinking to myself, like, you know what, man, it's just the same process over again. I mean, how many times has Mr. Beast been canceled? He's been canceled for identifying as a tank. He's been canceled for the Squid Game money. He's been canceled for eating a $70,000 pizza. Canceled for eating a $100,000 ice cream, canceled for curing the blind, and canceled for not being vegan. And now we have this one, canceled for donating 20,000 pairs of shoes to South African students. This guy has been canceled more times than a Netflix subscription. But just in case you guys don't know what's been going on, Mr. Beast, he's been collaborating with Barefoot No More, which is a charity for African kids, students specifically. Even feet that are reinforced with robust calluses, they fail in being persistent with the terrain in Africa. So this charity has dedicated themselves to ending that suffering. Now they're being canceled for that. Can you believe that? People are suffering, literally a cry of help, and they're being canceled for that? Amazing. And the Twitter post, forget about the Twitter post, man. If you're with your kids, make sure that you have their eyes covered, because when you go to Twitter, stupid beyond belief. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys believe that Martin Luther King Jr. died for their sins. So we have some comments here like, really, shoes? Why not cash or food? Another comment is, you are not a good person. And this other comment as well, it isn't philanthropy if you're making money off of it. I respect they hustle, but don't try to call it something it isn't. And if you take a look at this tweet here, you could tell that Mr. Beast had a premonition that this was probably going to be a lot bigger than he thought. They even made memes on Mr. Beast.
Here, right here. All your needs will be met.
I'm hungry.
It could potentially be true, but I mean, knowing Mr. Beast, I don't feel like this is something that will probably unfold the way they're depicting it here. And even if you read the description on his Mr. Beast Philanthropy channel, you will see that it reads 100% of the profits from my ad revenue, merch sales, and sponsorships will go towards making the world a better place. And obviously you and I don't have to doubt that, because you could just take a look at his record and you can see that he's been absolutely consistent when it comes to philanthropy and donating his earnings to people who need it. I don't know why, but this whole situation kind of reminds me of like the whole vegan teacher situation. You guys remember that? When she was talking about how like he has to donate his money instead of like eat the $70,000 pizza. It's crazy how she went about it. She ended up making a video and she wanted us and Mr. Beast to look at that kid in the eyes and tell it that it was okay to eat a $70,000 pizza while it was suffering in that image.
But before we watch him eat a $70,000 pizza, let's look into the eyes of this child. There are millions of children around the world who are starving to death. Parents who are crying because they can't provide essential foods for their children. $70,000 could buy a lot of food.
And what's crazy is that she was shaming Mr. Beast for not donating money to African kids who are starving. But if you take a look at his channel, he's done multiple events where he donates to a lot of children in Africa. Something the vegan teacher forgot to investigate. And I believe that this woman here is what a Mr. Beast hater looks like. We always talked about how like we want like somebody, a millionaire, to use his money for good. And now that he's using it, it's crazy how they'll just find any little chink in the armor and just attack it. Like if it's not shoes, it's money. And if it's money, oh, then you're just exploiting them. And another thing is that if you're gonna cancel Mr. Beast for all of this philanthropic content, then make sure that you also cancel him for saving an orphanage, building house for the homeless families, building wells in Africa, giving away 1 million meals, feeding a city in need, helping hurricanes survive. You get the point. There's just so much that he's contributed with his wealth. In one post, Mr. Beast kind of pointed out the irony. In a January post about rich people, how they should use their money to donate to the needy. And then also, if you see the post that he created about 2 or 3 days ago, you can go down, scroll down, and you can see that there's people that are asking for money, if not demanding it, and even replying with their Cash App username, which obviously there's always going to be people like that. You guys remember in the supermarket how everybody thought that Mr. Beast was going to show up, and then when everybody gets there and realize that Mr. Beast isn't showing up, they just leave everything. They don't even take it back to where they found it or even got the product. They just leave everything, which is unbelievable to me. So after all of this, I have a couple of final thoughts. All right, so Mr. Beast, he stated that he wants to pass on with just $0 to his name. I don't know why, but I feel like this is like a bit too much. He's kind of pushing it, at least in my opinion. And the reason why is because I feel like he hasn't lived that many years to really know if that's really or truly what he wants. I mean, think about it. Is he really going to be the same person 20 years from now? I mean, yeah, I'm sure that he's still going to have some values. However, what if he wants to kind of spoil himself? You know, should we be angry if he does? I personally am not going to be angry. I believe that he's done so much more positive to the world. And I don't think that he should hold himself to this really, really high, impossibly high standard. But I mean, if that's really what he wants, then by all means, I mean, more power to him. And of course, we're going to support him. He supported us, the world. So why not, right? I would just be very careful when it comes to absolute statements. Because, I mean, as you guys know, there's already been a video that's circulating of him talking to a homeless guy. And the way he phrases that sentence kind of sounds like he's exploiting him.
Most people get mad and say this is a bad way to get views. Tell them like you're okay with this. Are you okay with it?
Hell yeah.
That's right, YouTube.
Best day of my life right here.
Homeless people don't care if I use them for views.
See the sign? Oh. And he did it.
Obviously, we know Mr. Beast's reputation, and we know that that's not the case. However, I believe that it's just very important to be careful with your words. You want to make sure you're not speaking in absolutes. And I believe that this statement here, it sounds like an absolute statement.
Homeless people don't care if I use them for views.
So this is kind of where I'm just kind of thinking to myself, like, you know, maybe I would just kind of pull it back. You know, maybe not say something as absolute as, you know, wanting to pass on with $0 to your name. I mean, you know, you probably want to leave some for your kids, maybe your family, your mother. I don't know. It's just a thought. But nonetheless, yeah, I just kind of want to go ahead and leave it there. And yeah, man, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, hopefully you guys learned something today.